This last year, I've had to take a lot of time away from art to be able to focus on homeschooling my kids. And I wanted to talk to y'all about when can you tell, when can you decide if the things in your life, the season that you're in, is really from the Lord, or if you're quitting and giving up and running away. Let's talk about that. Welcome to Celebration State, where we help Christian creatives to grow in their creativity and in their love for God. As creatives, we tend to feel things very passionately. And sometimes the struggle with art can make you want to give up, can make you want to quit. Maybe you got a really bad review on your Etsy shop. Maybe you're getting some really hateful comments on your Instagram. Maybe the people around you that are closest to you are not being as supportive as you would think that they would be. This can all feel really bad. So how do we tell in our lives whether we're making a decision to take a break from art for healthy reasons, for God-given reasons, compared to reasons that look more like giving up or giving in? And the answer is God. Because if God's telling you to give up, if God's telling you, maybe not give up, but if God's telling you to rest for a season, to lay it down, to put it on a shelf, as some people like to say, if He's calling you to do that for a season, then that season is going to be life-giving. There's not going to be bitterness or regret. There's going to be a peace about that resting from art, because that is how things are when we're following the calling of the Spirit, when we're being obedient to His promptings. And of course, we have to partner with that and pursue Him in that time. We can't just give up on art and also give up on our relationship with God. Then you're probably not going to have that much peace in your life either. But telling whether the movement that's happening in your life season is from God or not is really similar to how you would discern getting a word from Him. And I talk a lot about all this kinds of stuff in my series on prophecy, Foundations of Prophecy. If you want to watch that series, if you want to grow more in prophecy, I will link to that above my head. It's just a playlist that I made on YouTube and currently is totally free. So I hope that it helps you and really blesses you. But how we can tell when something is from God or not is that it has that thread of Holy Spirit purpose running through it. It's not going to ever look like giving in to our circumstances. It's not going to be out of a response to fear. It's not going to be out of a response to giving in to the attacks and the criticisms that are coming from the world, but it's going to be a decision that you make yourself with God about, hey, honey, in this time, in this season for you, it's actually going to be better for you to lay this down for a little while. And what's amazing about those seasons, as hard as it can be to come to that and lay your passion, your creative passion down for a little while, is that once you bury it in the ground, God can make it new again and give it resurrection life. So if you are feeling pressured to let go of art right now because of fear or worry, then I would encourage you just to wait, to hold back from making that decision for a little while. Because if you are a Christian creative and you are making art that glorifies Him and not you, then guess what? You're going to have some opposition. And that is horrible. I know it feels so bad. And I wish I could just give you a big hug right now and, like a big sister, just take you under my arm and talk to you about how to get through that, because I've been through it too. And that's really why I've made these videos, is a digital form of a hug. And I hope that it strengthens you and encourages you to keep soldiering on with the mission and purpose that God has you on. So while I don't want you to give up, I will caveat all of this with the thought that if you don't have peace in your life, you may need to anchor into God, and you may not be ready to shoulder the burden or the mantle, depending on which way you look at it. You may not be ready to hold the mantle of an artist for the kingdom. And if you can find a way to find rest with God and peace with God, then creativity is going to flow from that time with Him. So if your relationship with God is in any way being compromised because of your artwork, if your ability to follow the two great commands, which are to love God and to love people, if those are in any way being compromised, whatever your creative mode is, I don't care how passionate you are about it, then you may have to lay that down, even if it's not supposed to be the season for that, because you're not doing as well as you need to be. And that's not a condemnation thing, but we need to take honest looks at our lives sometimes so that we can be obedient to the first two main commands that God's given us. And if art is not encouraging us to love God better and also to love people better, then there might be some priorities that are out of whack. So I have had seasons of totally laying art down, and those seasons were hard, but the giving up in the beginning, the laying down in the beginning was what was hard, because it was actually so much more of a blessing for me to be able to lay art down in that season, because my life was about to get crazy with like attacks and all kinds of stuff. And I was not ready to shoulder that mantle of being an artist with God. I needed to just keep my head on straight and stay focused in that time. And right now, what's been amazing is that even though I've been busy, I haven't had to lay art down completely, because God, it's like He supercharges my art in certain times, in certain moments that I can kind of steal away and work on things. And so it's this stepping back, but it's also letting God do whatever He wants to, whether I'm in the mood to make art or not. If I feel that calling, okay, you got to work on art, I'm learning how to go with that and make art in a busy season. And it's a weird sort of disconnected season in that sense, because I don't get to just immerse myself in art. And that is often what happens to us as parents, or even people that have full-time jobs and then are working on art when they get home in the evening. You end up feeling kind of disjointed and disconnected. But what's cool is that we have the Holy Spirit to help us to bring us all together, all of our pieces, and unify us under Him and His goals and His purpose and His heart. I really hope that this video strengthens you and encourages you. And if you have any questions, or if you just want to share your heart about what you're going through, I would love to hear it. Please put it down in the comments. And if you want to come on future creative adventures with us, please consider subscribing to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. Be so blessed.